They say only madmen fly beyond the Lightwall. Maybe they're right. But I've never trusted the sane. Sanity gets you killed in places like this. My name? Doesn't matter yet. Not until I earn it back. Out here, names are currency, and mine was stolen the day the Sovereign Confederacy branded me a traitor. All because I saw what I wasn't supposed to see. Not a weapon, not a rebellion, a woman. A woman unlike any known to Earth or its 12 scattered colonies. She had a name, too. But she burned it when her people fell. Now she's just Spectra, the last hunter from a race erased by peace treaties and orbital silence. I didn't find her. She found me. I was drifting near the Varnix rift, chasing a corrupted frequency pulsing, like a coded scream across subspace. It didn't match any distress beacon. It sang in reverse logic, a language engineered to unnerve. I traced it to an orbitless ruin of glass and bone, once a planet, now a grave. Inside that debris field, I found her watching me, not with eyes, but presence. She phased onto my bridge, without alert or airlock. The ship sensors didn't flinch. My weapon tried to target her. It melted in my grip. Then she spoke, and her voice pulled gravity around it like a command. I've watched how you hunt. I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. I was fascinated. You admire efficiency, she continued. So do I. I studied her. 6 limbs, each joint flowing like engineered silk. Her skin shimmered like obsidian bathed in starlight. No, armor. She was the armor. Her face split into expressions human tongues have no words for. Why me? I asked. She pointed toward my chest. You carry the last pure code of Earth's alpha strain, unmodified, unenhanced, unbroken. That's a liability, I said. To your people, she agreed, but not to mine, not to me. She leaned forward, nose almost touching mine. A hunter like that deserves to pass on his genes. I should have laughed, but I didn't, because she wasn't flirting. She was recruiting. She told me her name wasn't a name, but a designation encoded in light. She came from a star system that detonated itself to deny conquest. Her kind could survive without mass, becoming thought, memory, war maps drifting in the void. But she chose to remain physical, to feel, to touch, to remember. That made her dangerous. And lonely. Together we landed on a forgotten moon, one not mapped on any galactic chart. Its surface was a mosaic of silver veins, all pulsing to a rhythm older than history. I felt it in my teeth, in my blood, in my marrow. This is where they stored it, she said. Stored what? The future. In the ruins of a chamber deeper than logic, we found it, a sphere suspended in magneto-null stasis. It pulsed with a heartbeat not unlike my own, DNA hybrid.ours. She had built a child from potential, not from flesh. It hadn't been born. It had been calculated. A blueprint encoded from 2 genetic paths, mine and hers. But she needed consent to activate it. You made this without asking me, I said. True, she replied, but I didn't raise it. Not yet. It wasn't just a child. It was a key to something bigger, something hidden. She said there were others, rival hunters who wanted to destroy the seed. Not because it was dangerous, but because it was different. It was both. Neither. Beyond. My instincts told me to destroy it. My training screamed betrayal. But something else stirred, the urge not to run, but to stay, to belong. Then the betrayal came. Not hers. Mine. I sent a covert ping to the Black Sun Protocol. I told them where I was, who I was with, what I had found. I told myself it was insurance. But it was fear. I didn't expect them to arrive in 6 minutes, and I didn't expect to regret it. When the sky tore open, raining thunder from orbit, she didn't look angry. She looked resigned. I knew you would test me, she said softly. You don't understand. I had to. But I didn't finish. because her silhouette began to break apart, not from damage, but from choice. She let go of mass. She began to dissolve into light and shadow, and in her final coherent moment, she said, "Next time, choose me before they do." She vanished, and I was left with the sphere and a choice: run or raise it. I didn't run, I stayed. Even as the orbit cracked and flame bloomed in the upper sky, I stood there, alone but not unarmed. She was gone, scattered across spectra I couldn't follow, but the seed remained, encased in crystal, humming with dormant purpose. The squadron that descended wore the Black Sun emblem, obsidian helix across crimson steel. Mercenaries in allegiance to nothing but coin and chaos. I knew the man who led them, or thought I did. Commander Vile Revik, the one who once taught me how to stalk without sound, who carved a kill mark into my shoulder after we silenced the Scion Queen of Arvalis III together. He approached, helmet retracting, gray eyes, still sharp, mouth curled in smugness. "You always did find the shiny things first," he said, nodding toward the sphere. "Didn't call you for compliments." "No," he said, circling. "You called me for absolution, and you won't get it." He turned to the others. "Extract the object, secure the site." As they moved toward it, the sphere pulsed once, hard. Time warped, gravity twisted. One of the soldiers stumbled. Another screamed and dropped dead. No wound, just stopped, like a switch flipped. "The hell is this thing?" Vale asked, raising his weapon. "Not a thing," I replied. "It's becoming." He aimed at it. I stepped between them. "You called me Kalen," he spat. "And now you want to play father to a weapon?" "She wasn't building a weapon," I said. He laughed. "You're not that naive. Hybrids don't evolve, they infect." I clenched my fists. The heat in my blood was different now, amplified. The closer I stood to the sphere, the clearer I felt, like it was tuning me, or I was tuning it. Then it happened. The prism cracked. From it emerged a figure, no older than 10 by appearance, but time didn't touch her the same way. Her hair shimmered between colors, and her eyes. Impossible. No irises, no pupils, just a nebula burning in twin galaxies. She looked at me, spoke a name I hadn't used since birth, Aryan. The name hit me like a detonator. How did she know? Vale didn't hesitate. He fired. The child raised one hand. The blast reversed midair and re-entered his rifle, which exploded in his grip. He collapsed. Not dead, but changed. His body twitched in seizures, as if his mind was being rewritten in real time. The others panicked. I stood still. She looked at them, then back at me. "I don't want to hurt," she said. "I just want to know why I was made." I fell to one knee. "So do I." The surviving Black Sun operatives retreated, dragging Viel's limp body. I didn't stop them. I had bigger questions. Now. Bigger answers to chase. We left that moon. The girl, she called herself Ilari, needed time. Understanding. A name she could grow into. She was more than flesh and neural fire. She absorbed data from every frequency like breath, spoke in codes, dreamed in equations, but she was still a child. She laughed when she saw birds on the oasis world of Minak Fi. She cried when she heard music. She asked why stars had to die. I didn't have answers, so I told her the truth. Sometimes we burn to protect what matters. Then came the encrypted call. Not from the Confederacy, not from Black Sun. From her, Spectra. Not dead, not gone. Only waiting. She'd scattered herself across quantum echo relays. Her consciousness bled into anomalies, waiting for the seed to awaken. "I needed to test you, Orion," her voice rang from every speaker on the ship. "Would you protect what you couldn't control, or would you destroy it for safety?" I wanted to scream, to demand why she hadn't trusted me. But I already knew the answer. "I failed," I said. "No," she whispered. "You changed." Her face materialized on the observation deck, no longer the hunter, now The Guardian. I can't hold this form much longer. But Ilari will face trials I never dreamed of. Creatures will hunt her for what she is. Beings who don't fear death, because they've erased it from themselves. I nodded. Then I'll be her shield. Spectra smiled. She'll need more than a shield. And then she was gone. But not without leaving something behind. A map, encoded in Ilari's dreams, of a place called Solpathra, a cradle of first convergence, a place where memory was born. The key to Ilari's purpose lay there, and so did the enemy. As we prepared to enter Cryo for the journey, Ilari clutched my arm. You lied to them, she said. Who? The Black Sun, the Confederacy, everyone. Her eyes locked with mine. You're not a hunter anymore. I sighed. No, I said. Now I'm the prey. We reached Solpathra on the 43rd cycle of the Red Star Orexian. Most systems would call this place myth, a gravitational impossibility that shouldn't exist. And yet, there it was. A sphere world made of interlocking rings, each spinning at conflicting speeds, each layered with entire biomes and relics older than language. Ilari stepped forward before the docking bridge extended. She didn't tremble. She didn't blink. This place remembers me, she whispered, but she had never been here, or maybe something inside her had. We descended into the lowest ring first, the archive ring. Here, knowledge was not written, but stored in living structures, sentient libraries made of vines, veins, and vox. One of them moved as we approached. Its bark peeled open like a flower, revealing a figure. Tall, thin, no mouth, skin etched with fractal scars of glowing emerald. He bowed. Ilari of Line Axiom, he said in a language older than thought. Daughter of the Divergence. Ilari tilted her head. Why do you call me that? He turned his gaze toward me. Because her birth fractured the pattern, and you, carrier of the unbroken strand, you anchored it. He raised one hand and the ground beneath us shimmered. A holograph formed in liquid air. 3 figures, Spectra, whole and radiant. Ilari, smaller, unborn. And me, in chains. Is this prophecy? I asked. No, he replied. It is memory. From a future that tried to become real and failed. Ilari reached for the hologram. Her hand passed through it, but the moment she touched it, her skin glowed. She's sinking, the librarian said. The closer she comes to convergence, the more the galaxy will tilt. Toward what? I asked. He didn't answer. Because something was coming. The sky cracked. Above us, the upper rings shattered like spun glass, and from them fell a storm, metal-clad. Organisms, flying in flocks, screaming not in sound but in logic. The Nullborn. Spectra's warning made sense now. The Nullborn weren't alive in the way we understood it. They were ex-life, entities that had shed all trace of origin, identity, mortality. They were what happened when evolution consumed itself. And they were hunting her. They didn't attack randomly. They focused. Laser sharp, straight at Ilari. Moved before I could think. My body forgot pain, fatigue, history. The hunter's reflex returned, but I fought with desperation now, not calculation. I wasn't fighting to win. I was fighting to keep her alive. Ilari screamed, not from fear, but from resonance. The Nullborn had touched something inside her. She convulsed. Light burst from her eyes. Her mouth opened, but no sound emerged, only a pulse that cracked one of the attacker's carapaces like porcelain. The librarian moved to shield her. He was torn in half. No blood. Just data. Memories spilling like smoke. I grabbed her and ran. We crashed through memory halls, across bridges that reformed as we crossed them. Where do we go? I yelled. Up! She screamed back. Not away. Up to the central ring, Solpathra's core. The core was not a place, it was a being, a mind made of orbit and origin. It spoke before we arrived. Ilari, final variant. Why do you return? She stood before the interface, what looked like a throne built of rotating blades. To know what I am. You are not a mistake, the voice replied. You are a correction. The throne rotated. A beam extended from it, scanning her entire form. Host integrity stable. Genetic bridges functional. Emotional baseline. Conflicted. I don't want to be a weapon, she said. You are not, the voice said. You are a mirror. Then it turned to me. Arian Vire, former Asset Z-17 of Earth's Omega bounty line. I froze. Ilari's eyes widened. You told me you weren't enhanced. I lied, I said. Not with pride, with shame. I was altered at birth. They built me to track what couldn't be tracked. Emotions were meant to be dulled, memory edited. But something went wrong. I kept dreaming. I kept feeling. Ilari stepped back. You said I was different, she whispered. You are, I said. Because I didn't make you from ambition or duty. I protected you because... Because what? She demanded. I looked her in the eye. Because you're mine. Not my weapon. Not my mission. Mine. The Nullborn broke through the roof. Dozens now. They surrounded us. Ilari stepped forward, and for the first time, she didn't glow. She dimmed. The Nullborn froze. Their light flickered, then failed. And then they bowed. All of them. To her. She turned to me. I don't know what I am anymore. You're not one thing, I said. She smiled faintly. Neither are you. We left Solpathra not as fugitives, not as father and daughter, not even as hunter and prey. We left as two halves of an unknown whole. And beyond the stars, I felt her. Spectra, still watching, still waiting. And behind her, something worse, something older, not an enemy, a creator, and it was coming home, and it was. The void between stars felt different now, heavier, the kind of silence that hums with unspoken warnings. Spectra's last message burned in my mind. A creator is coming home. But who? What? I stared at Ilari, who had been both my anchor and my mystery since that impossible signal shattered everything I thought I knew. She was no longer just a child or a weapon. She was the sum of countless forgotten legacies, a bridge between humanity's past and a future we hadn't earned. Our ship, the Nox Lure, surged toward the heart of the Solstice Nebula, the coordinates Spectra had encoded. There, we hoped, lay the answer. The origin of the Creator, and the final chapter to a war that had never been written in any history book. The nebula wasn't a nebula at all. It was a colossal organism, pulsating and breathing, its tendrils stretching light years into space. As we breached its outer membrane, every system in the ship flickered, overwhelmed by a tide of bioelectric signals. Ilari's eyes blazed with raw data, streaming faster than my brain could process. This thing isn't just alive, she said, her voice trembling. It's consciousness. Collective. Ancient. Before I could reply, a shadow detached itself from the darkness ahead. A monolith larger than moons, covered in shifting glyphs of light and shadow. Then the voice came. Not from speakers, not from any channel, but inside my mind. You carry what I lost. The Creator was not a god, nor a machine. It was the first intelligence born from the galaxy itself, a living archive of everything that had lived, died and evolved, and it wanted its child. Ilari stepped forward. No, I said. She's not yours. She is part of me, the voice said, the culmination of my design, and the key to my rebirth. I gripped Ilari's hand. The space between us crackled with tension, the tension of futures hanging in balance. Suddenly, the monolith opened like a black flower, and waves of searing light swept toward us. I raised my arm instinctively, but the pain that erupted wasn't physical. It was memory. Not mine. Not hers. But hers. Spectra's. Visions flooded me. Endless battles, betrayals by those we once called allies, sacrifices to protect what should never have existed. I saw Spectra's final stand. The moment she shattered herself to save Ilari and me. I understood now. This wasn't just a war for survival. It was a war for identity. For freedom. Ilari's eyes locked with mine. We have a choice, she said softly. To become what they want us to be, or to become what we choose. I looked out at the cosmic Leviathan, then back at her. A hunter like you deserves to write his own legacy. Her hand squeezed mine, and together we stepped into the light. The galaxy held its breath, and the future waited.